What's up, geeks and gamers? My name is Draymond, and welcome to Thorium Gaming. And after a very long hiatus, we are back with Nightly Valor, our attempts to bring the light of the Lady of the Lake to the entirety of the old world, or at least stay in the Empire's shadow while we do it. So, I apologize in advance if the sound levels are a little bit off. I'm still working with the new headset and the new microphone to make sure everything is working properly. If the levels are a little bit off, feel free to scream at me more than usual, because, well, it is what it is right now. So before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of what we're doing this week, we have to go over a couple of things. Now, I've already gone in and set this up for all of our lords and knightly characters. It's the vow system. So the reason why we're losing a lot of cash right now is because we lost all our vows, including Leon Kerr's Grail vow. He had all three. He starts the game with them. That's his special bonus. But this takes it out of the skill tree and makes it its own little unique piece of the faction. So when you get to unlock the Knight's Vow, you have three choices. For Lord characters, it is research 5 technologies, be in a region when 5 buildings are constructed, or level up 5 times. So for Adadon here, we have research 5 technologies, because he's got a fairly decent level. I think for most of the other lords, we have rank up 5 times, because they're going to be fighting a fair bit in the next little bit. And with luck, we'll be able to get them back up and get at least the Knight's Vow, so that all of these knights stop costing us an arm and a leg. That's why we are kind of hurting for cash flow right now. We have Adadon and I believe Muffin up north. We've got Leoncoeur, Phoenix, and Grimaldus here getting ready to deal with Rico Drago for Talea. And Muffin down in this, or not Muffin, Yoki down in the south, who's going to be going to get the fell cargoes that are around here and try and boost our treasury up a little bit. So that's great. Over in the east, we do have Lord Eddie getting ready to go. But I'm kind of skipping a few steps here anyway. My brain's a little bit rattled right now, not gonna lie. So there was some other advancements with Total War Warhammer 2 in general that came out over the last couple of months that I haven't been able to record, and a lot of them are actually really awesome if you're just getting into the game or just starting out or wanting to play through it again. 2 of them are free. One of them was a paid Warlord kit, and definitely worth the investment on the Warlord kit. But we'll go through those in just a second. So the first thing is, we didn't get the Mountains of Morn. I would really love to see the ogres come in. I don't know why, I just want to see giant ogres riding giant woolly rhinos charging down at people. That just seems mind-blowingly cool to me. I don't know why it is, just on the tabletop, it was the only thing that ever made me pause a little bit and go, okay, maybe my knights shouldn't charge this. I definitely don't want to get charged by it, but let's send the peasants first. So they're actually up in this range here, and of course the Chaos Dwarfs are up there too, and them I want to see at least brought back in the digital form, because they were fun in the older editions of Warhammer, and they've got no love. Absolutely no love at all. They work for Chaos. They're awesome. The only ones that are in game are the ones that run the Hell Cannon crews, which is kind of disappointing. On the other note, the Vampire Count's been split up a little bit. Heinrich Himmler? Heinrich? The guy with Krell, the Undead Chaos White. Blackstone Post is actually his base now. He's his own little faction, and he starts off right there. So you get a lot of vampiric corruption off the bat. You start off with Heinrich Himmler. He's got some bonuses to work with the vampire counts, but it's another vampiric faction. So they have the most legendary lords out of all the factions as far as I'm aware. Like, just so many vampires. The other ones that came in were Ikit Claw. He starts off way down here in Skavenblight. Now, in our playthrough, we weren't going to see him, because A, Skavenblight's been taken over, and B, he starts there, so we aren't going to see a new legendary lord in this playthrough. But he is a Warplock engineer, he gets a bunch of cool toys, they get Doom rockets in battle, and it's awesome. He's part of the Warlord kit, the Warlord and the Priest? Or the Warlock and the Priest, something like that. It's him and Lizardman, whose name I cannot pronounce, but I will do my best. Tinowanan? He starts somewhere in this general area here. He's the red-crested skink priest, the follower of Sotek, and he gets a bunch of bonuses. He brought in red-crested skink units. They're a two-handed skink unit. A lot of fun. They're not as tough as Saurus warriors, but let's face it, Saurus warriors are bred to beat up things. This red-crested skinks are just kind of an aberration in that regard. But the Saurus warriors they're like velociraptors from Jurassic Park crossed with the apes from the Planet of the Apes. That's essentially what you got, and that's a Saurus warrior. But in addition to that, when they released that Warlord kit, we also got, right in this area here, Tic-Tac-Toe. Yes, I'm not kidding you. That's actually his name. He is a skink warchief who rides on the back of a pterodactyl, or pterodon in this case. All of his skink chiefs start off with pterodons as their little bonus, and he's awesome. He was a great hero. He was a hero character in the tabletop. He was so much fun. Like, I played Lizardmen very, very little, but I always took Tic-Tac-Toe because A, I love the name, and B, he was a great pterodon rider. So he starts right here, give or take, and his unique, what are they called? Right, I think they're called. Anyway, it's the button that's right here on almost every race except for Bretonia, because we get the Green Knight instead. His allows him to reset the movement range of all of the lords on his faction for his turn, so it makes them incredibly mobile. But he starts here, amongst all of the Tomb Kings, the Dwarves, and the Bretonian errantry factions. It's not a good place to start. It's incredibly hard to start there. I mean, it's harder to start there than it is for, like, Nagaryth, where you're playing Aelith and Ar. Like, it is tough. But he is really, really powerful in the late game, and it's a lot of fun. So you get a little bit more combat in Lustria, a little bit more combat in the southern realms here, and you get a little bit more combat over in the deserts. Just give us the ogres already. Come on, Creative Assembly. I know you're working on 3 kingdoms, but I really want the ogres. Please? 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 Anyway, so what the basic plan is to take our lords from up here. We're going to leave 1 to protect against Norscan invasions, because right now Norsca is doing incredibly well. I believe they're like 2nd or 3rd in power. They're pretty tough. Just gotta find them in here. They're 9th. They're slightly weaker than us, but any raid on our northern shores is not a good thing. But we can't do much to help our friends over on Ulthuan, because Malekith is there with his pretty impressive army stack. Morathi is there with what we have no idea what she's got, but she's there. And then we have a Dread Admiral who's got a Black Arc, so that makes taking it all the tougher. We are at war with them, so we're going to have to watch Lyonesse and make sure that if Morathi or Malekith comes over, we can get into that castle and fight them back. But I doubt we're going to be able to do anything to help Ulthuan right now. But what we can do is send our own little errantry war off to something like Karon-Kar and Nagrar and start disassembling the Dark Elves infrastructure up there. That's assuming that we can get our income back into shape, because our lords have all lost their vows. We're just going to have to deal with it right now. It's not really an option. We have Elbrick and Portalo, but we did not get the Fey Enchantress, which is kind of disappointing, just as a general reminder. I mean, the Wood Elves are in the forest. We are improving with them fairly quickly. Well, for now, anyway. They don't like Talea, so as we fight Talea, they'll be able to come around to us a little bit more. That's the other thing that we should look at, is in our tech trees, it's entirely changed. And there are actually things in here that are a benefit to us. We now have the ability to make better diplomatic relations with the Wood Elves, with Tomb Kings, men, dwarves, our errantry wars overseas, and the High Elves and Lizardmen. So this has been completely reworked, and these got all separated. It was a major, major overhaul. The right side of the tech tree pretty much stayed the same, so not too much different there. But our heraldries, our support, and our decrees definitely got changed, and that has kind of altered the way they play. Can't do much about it now, and I refuse to let this kind of die, because we've been pushing hard for this. But we are going to keep going through, and even with all the little hiccups and changes, we're going to keep fighting. And our next target is probably going to be Skaven Blight. It's got a very, very large garrison. But we have a lot of knights. A lot of knights.
Protector of the realm.
So hopefully we'll be able to push through that. We're going to take down Rico Drago if he stays there. Let's pass it off to the other nations and see how it goes. I hope everybody's summer has been going great. I've been having a great time. Yeah, it's a little too hot some days, but that's kind of like the worst, weakest complaint you can have during summer. It's been gorgeous outside. We've been seeing a lot of wildlife. It's been great. So, I can't really complain too much. I could, but no one would listen, so why bother? Anyway, so we've got the Archlector and the other legendary lord, Grand Theogenist. He's ambushing right now. But the orcs have been beaten back to basically, I think, just that. Skull? And the Emperor, with his Luminarch of Hysh. I think that's Luminarch of Hysh. It is Luminarch of Hysh and a mortar. He's got a lot of handgunners in that army. Oh, that's the other thing that was put into the game. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to repeat myself if I did, because it is awesome. So the Empire actually got a miniature little upgrade. And we'll talk about that in just a sec here. Yeah, we're going to take a defensive alliance with the dwarves, especially for 1,000 crowns, because we need the money. But the Empire got a little bit of a magical boost to their already significant magical powers. The Amethyst Wizard Pack came out. It was free, completely free DLC, and they now have Amethyst Wizards. In other words, the Lore of Death is one of the spells that they can, or spell schools, winds of magic that they can use. So the Empire, I think, has access to all 8 now. Well, aside from the specialist ones like the high magic of the High Elves, the dread magic of the Dark Elves, Lizardman magic, you know, the specialist ones for the other races. Ain't no Empire wizard that's casting spells on the basis of Gork and Morg for the orcs, for example. But it gives them the access to the Lore of Death. I've seen a little bit of interaction between the Amethyst Wizards and the Vampire Counts. It's mixed, I want to say. That's a pretty tough army. Phoenixes, dragons, great eagles, a lot of dragon princes. Not a whole lot of archery, but a lot of Phoenix Guard. That's a fairly sizable force. And there's Teclis himself. I wonder if he's going after Elysia. Be nice to see him push the Dark Elves off of Ulthuan. Especially away from Tor Anlek, because we do not want Malekith rebuilding his dread citadel there. Was the seat of an Aryan at one point, but that changed when Lothern kind of gained preeminence. I think we're going to watch Teclis get his butt kicked here, because that's Malekith. And Marathi coming out. Teclis is going to withdraw, which was smart, but I think he got himself a little bit too close. And yes, he definitely got himself too close. This is going to end poorly for poor Teclis. Though they did a fair bit of damage to Malekith. And he has the Sword of Cain. Oh, that's not good. But it is typical that he would grab the sword of his father's lineage. It's supposed to end the world. You don't pull the Sword of Cain out. It's not a good idea. Arcana Black. You know what, we'll take that trade agreement right now. Usually I wouldn't give the Tomb Kings access to more resources, because that's how they build their items in their workshops, but we're kind of hurting for cash right now because we lost all of our vows. So we'll take it. And the dwarves of Karak Ziflin that are moving through our territory. Probably going to go back to the mountains. We don't have to worry about the dwarves too much. They're kind of steadfast. I am curious where Rorik's going, though. The Empire owns most of that territory.
This is Bretonia. I am its king.
And no, we are not declaring peace with you. We need you as kind of our punching bag for right now so we can level up some of our lords. It's unfortunate, Talea, but you're just gonna have to suck it up. And it looks like Mr. Drago is pulling back to Skavenblight. The Blooded Axe tribe is gone. So we're only down 152. And we've got the Armor of Brilliance for Liancour. Got the Unification of Bretonnia. There we go. Alright, so let's go in here. Let's try and make it so that the Wood Elves are less likely to attack us. That would be fairly awesome. We could push forward. We're only losing 152 a turn. Cannot build the, wow, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. The Arc Ecclesiatium of Myrmidon? Wow, that's kind of a mouthful. What we can do is throw a weaving house down, and that should cover our missing income for a while. Oh, and all of our mount options kind of got disassembled. All of our heroes and lords start with a warhorse now, which is just right and proper. And our ladies don't have to get a warhorse before they get their unicorn. We're going to go for the transformation of Kadon first, because that allows us to summon manticores. But let's start out in the south here.
Hiatus. Moving out.
Go towards this wreck. I think we're going to have to wait, because the battles we'll be fighting here are pretty bad. Because we don't have the force to make that any better right now. El Haik is gaining a lot. Furus is right there, so could build a chapel, but that's not a good idea. Oh, and with the introduction of Ikit Claw, they can actually build underground laboratories and Skaven lairs now. This applies to all Skaven factions. So the Night Watch is one of, well, it's the Bretonnian version of the building that allows you to help detect Skaven undercities. Skaven can spread a lot easier now. It takes away one of the chief little downsides to everything that they did before. One of their major negatives. So what we're going to do is I think we're going to take Muffin, just so that the Dark Elves don't get any ideas. We're going to bring him down towards Lyonesse. We're not full health on our knights or anything in here yet. But if we can move out as a generalized force,
I take my lead.
we should, in theory, be able to at least draw out Talea for a fight.
Reputation precedes me. My strength and wisdom are yours.
That'll still leave us pretty good. It's hurting us on the cash because we're no longer in our own territory. Dame Yelena, we're just going to put into encampment stance.
Devotee of the lady.
These guys are only costing us how much a turn? They are not costing us anything per turn. That is a change I may not have noticed. Let's see if it's in here. They do not have an upkeep. I'm guessing that's one of the technologies that we researched. Probably somewhere in here. There's minus 5% upkeep for all of our non-nightly units. That helps. Not seeing it. So I guess that the peasant infantry, which are the worst thing that we have, is just kind of ignorable now. Drop one set of archers there. Try and cut down the price a little bit.
Protector of the realm.
Don't want to kill anything off there just yet.
Lord.
Those knights have all got some experience on them, so I don't want to get rid of them either. we're just going to have to be real careful with how our economy is working out. So let's just pass it on to the other nations and we'll see where they go. The Empire's been really fond of those Hellstorm rocket batteries. They've got them in pretty much every army they've done. And then the Emperor's Eye, he should be the Arch-Elector. Did they just devastate the dwarves? Or the orcs, sorry? I'm really hoping that this could result in the end of orcish existence here. Greenskin's destroyed. So no more orcish interference. Orcs are gone. That's great, and they're even up near the mountain peaks and everything, waiting for what may be a while if the forces of chaos are dragging their heels. I'm not even going to beat around the bush anymore. That we know that it's the forces of chaos that could be coming down. So with the orcs gone, we're kind of losing targets down there. I mean, Lord Eddie at Iron Rock, he's there. I think it's Eddie. Probably Eddie. But he's there, and we could possibly push down and fight Khemri? Maybe? If I sound unsure about that, it's because I'm totally unsure about that. The Tomb King army, it's been getting buffs in the background, and they're a lot tougher now than when they were first released. At least that's how it seems to me. I could be off base on that, but play experience is kind of pushing me towards that direction. So, I'd rather not fight Cetra if I can avoid it. But the only other option is to hit hard west and fight the Dark Elves, and, well, they hit like trucks. And we don't really have the finances to take on something like that. Now, if Ulthuan gets brought back underneath the Lothern banner, then we wouldn't have to really worry about it. But with Marathi running around and Malekith running around, it's definitely not a great place to be right now.
You come to Bretonia, stranger. I am its king.
You are at war with the other Tomb King dynasties and Clan Morse. Clan Morse hasn't been eliminated yet, which means we have some Ratmen that we can fight, which is good. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that guy's name, because... Oh, he's got a that's 2 Khemrian War Sphinxes. Are they separate factions, though? They are separate factions. Khemrian War Sphinxes, of course, is one of the Lord mounts, and they are just really powerful. Maybe we want to take that military alliance with Khemri, because they got War Sphinxes right outside of our door, or at least Lords with Tomb Guard and War Sphinxes right out of our door. We only need a little bit more chivalry to kick off our final battle and win this, but yay, bus. We're kind of in a tricky situation there. The lady will provide, of course, but it just... there's so much that could go wrong. He's got a warrior priest coming up behind us. And Sar PC is lucky. Had a hero critically fail his assault roll on us. Guess it would be wound in this case, not assault units. I swear I've been playing this game in the off time just to keep myself up to date, but my brain doesn't work. I guess that's what we'll go with. Alright, so critical failure there. He's lucky.
I am the blood of Jill.
So there is one advantage in attacking Skaven Blight. This army here,
Not.
under Benito, it'll take them at least 2 turns to get over. This is all swampland in here, and it's next to impossible to navigate. Do we have military access with the dwarves?
All here are honored.
We have military access, I believe. Yes, we do. But let's go down to the Tomb Kings, because I don't want to have to deal with them. There we go. So Khemri is now no longer an issue, since we have military access. We do have trebuchets, which means we can technically do this in one quick, swift assault. And Grimaldus is on a hippogriff, as well as King Lewin being on his Bequee. Then we have Phoenix, who's just on a warhorse. I say just, but anyway. Yogi, let's get a little bit more cash, and we are in the green again for our funds. I'm gonna wait though. You don't really have the army to deal with that sort of stuff. I don't want to upgrade any buildings right now, because that would be a lot of stuff that we could spend.
Do you know who I am?
Iron Rock. A warning. And we are gaining untainted in all regions. Now, Lord Eddie, there are a bunch of rat men way down here. So what we can do is try to get Lord Eddie down there as quickly as possible and possibly engage them. Iron Rock and Barag Dawazbag are doing okay for now. Got a few more turns before they start having some issues. We just gotta get over... I think it's just over 1,600 chivalry to start the final encounter. That should do it. I mean, the Empire is kind of taking Carrick and Gazar. Really curious as to when the Forces of Chaos are going to show up. And I forgot that we were moving Lord Muffin, which is my bad. But now he's in range of Leoness, so if the Dark Elves decide they want to come over and have a little showdown, we got Muffin there. And I think this is going to be the end for that faction of rebels. Yep, Troll Skulls destroyed. The Empire's just rolling through anything that's got green skin. Not necessarily a bad thing, all things considered, given the world, the universe, racism. The real world is wrong. Racism in here is kind of necessary. To a point. Elves are okay. Well, wood and high elves are okay. Lizard men might bite you, but they're okay. Dwarves, they're short, but they're awesome. Halflings, again, short, awesome, but they'll eat all your food. Greenskins, Forces of Chaos, Mutants, Beastmen, and Skaven. Yeah, I know. We can't really abide them. Because they're evil. There's like a bigger metaphysical argument in there, especially with Skaven nihilism and all this other stuff that's out there, but I'm not going to bring politics into this. Considering one of the worst and most evil races in the entire Warhammer world is mostly human. Mutated humans, anyway. Warriors of Chaos. Worst part is it was their choice. See, now that's the army I want to see engage with Malekith. Especially with the witch elves that he has in his army. Because Phoenix Guard tend to just kind of look at witch elves and go, yeah, no. And just cut them down pretty quickly. Those Phoenixes won't hurt either. Phoenixi? Phoenixes? I think it's Phoenixes. It's one of those weird words. I swear I can talk. Not thinking too clearly. Anyway. So you got Lothern. I'm wondering what Hexwaddle's gonna do, aka the Lizardmen. If they're pushing hard against the southern boundaries of the Druki, which is the Dark Elves, then maybe the pressure will be taken off Ulthuan. Maybe they'll even give us the opening we need to hit the Cold Lands themselves, but we don't know for sure. Alright, where is that Kemrian War Sphinx going? Because that kind of worries me. Is that a Necrotech or a Tomb Priest? Lich Priest. The Hekaran. That's a Necrotech. Those are the guys you want in your armies if you've got to do Shabti or Bone Giants or Hierophants.
You are a guest in my realm. You will act like it, or I will strike you down where you stand.
We're not going to accept that. We're kind of going downhill with Arcan the Black because we're allied with Khemri, and they're at war with Khemri. So, there's that. Granted, the only Tomb King's playthrough I've done so far was the Court of Liberus, and I've been finding that I need 2 or 3 armies to defeat. And I fight most of the battles there myself just because, well, I'm OCD and I fight all the battles. In here, I kind of skip the ones that are, you know, guaranteed win or lose, because I don't want to bog things down and bore you guys too much. You already put up with so much crap from me. But with the Tomb Kings, I've been finding that a lot of the battles require 2 to 3 army stacks to actually get something done.
Grave news, my lord. Word is spreading across the land of a dark power rising in the northern wastes. The armies of chaos are on the move. They surely plan to invade the world of mortals once again.
I tempted Mother Murphy, and she answered.
Well, for the forces of chaos spare no one in their quest for bloodshed.
So this is just the baby version of it. Azazel. Those are both Chaos Sorcerers, it looks like, and we got 2 War Herds of Chaos. So Chaos has invaded.
Valiant Lord.
Which means our southern coast is kind of at risk, but more importantly than that are the lands in the dunes. Considering there's a rather large fleet of little bastards over here that could come and... Why would you declare war on Kislev? Why? Kislev is like the only thing holding our northern border. That's not very bright there, Dawi. Oh, we could get the Beast Slayers at Baston. We have the money for them. So let's do that. Give us a little bit more infantry punch there. Still making 403. We definitely can't afford either the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis or the Companions of Quinel. What we can do, we can assault Skavenblight, maintain the siege for now, bring Lord Grimaldus and Lord Phoenix in, lay siege there. Give it at least 1 turn before we go ham on that one, because they can't get to us in a turn. And they may saunter out, which gives us a distinct advantage. The forces of chaos on the march, though,
Lord.
could be a bit of a pain. So Adodon might be going to the east to shore up the defenses of the Empire. don't want to see it that way, but it might just have to happen.
My
We'll
strength
keep
and
moving Eddie
wisdom
down
are
south,
yours.
though. If we can deal with the rat men that are hiding out here, should give us an advantage. I just had to tempt Mother Murphy, didn't I? My bad on that, guys. My bad. I
We have
tempted
met
it, and
before.
Chaos decided to come to the world again. I'm bad. I'm sorry. With that said, guys, I know it's a little bit shorter this week. I'm still getting used to the headset. I'm still trying to make sure all the balances and everything aren't completely whacked out. So we're going to call it there, about 40 minutes. And yeah, that's going to be it for this week. And then next week, we're going to have the Invasion of Chaos. We're going to invade Skaven Blight. We're going to see if we can survive the storm that's coming. We'll probably make peace with Talea and get the armies that we have down there with Grimaldus, Phoenix, and King Lewin up to places where they can actually do something. I'm thinking about bringing the king up here and leaving Phoenix and Grimaldus down in Magrita to maybe help go down south to Al Haik. Yeah, it's going to be a long fight. But anyway, guys, if you liked the video, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to join up with the 232, pop up in this or others Let's Plays, just hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn your notifications on so you don't miss when a new video goes out. And remember, guys, life is a game, so play to win. And until next time, take care.